Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now. This is a part 4 of a series called Preparing for November. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Larry has a migraine. He won't be here until about maybe 20 minutes to half an hour into the show. So, if anything, we're going to go ahead and recognize our community and then start things off here shortly. So, let's start off with, let's see here. Going to see who it was. I believe it's Brian Dowie, and I think it is. So, Brian Dowie, he says, "Sup, guys? First, good to see you, Brian. Glad you're here tonight. Hope you're doing well." And next, we have Hey from Team Shay, because why else would it be anything different than the Hey? He's not Team Shay if he doesn't say Hey. All right. Crypto Mike says, "Yo, good to see you." My girlfriend, Elaine, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Jeff350Z says, "Yo." Miss Cornwell, Mrs. Cornwell, I should say. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you, thank you. And Forever. Okay. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. What's up, CTN fam? Well, we're going to wait for a few more people to basically come on in, but we're going to go ahead and start here shortly. But how about we start things off with the overall crypto market cap? And give me just a moment to do that. Let's see. All right. So let me see. I actually had to stop that for a second. All right. My bad. There we go. I do see that we don't have a lot of people here, but it's okay. Just double checking a few settings. All right. There we go. So I definitely see here on CoinMarketCap, the overall crypto market cap is at 248 billion roughly. It's not even a slight increase, nothing too significant. We're going to check out the top 100. And on that 1 hour chart, it looks like Huobi is the top performer, nothing too big. Polygon, of course, and Phantom are up there. On the 24-hour chart, Terra Classic USD, aka USTC, is doing pretty well. You may be wondering, well, why isn't Luna Classic doing the same? And these types of things do happen, but yeah, we saw that this has been up for the last 7 days, close to 7% for the last 7 days. But of course, mainly today for the 24-hour chart, it's looking pretty good for USTC, and it's even in the top 100. Some of the other ones, like the topic of the day, ISO 222. We do see that Casper is right up there in that mix. That's part of the ISOs. XRP, of course, definitely is. Quant, right? And of course, here's Luna Classic. That's not ISO, but we mention it quite a bit. I know quite a few guys are into Polygon and so on, but that's what's going on with all those. I'm going to show you, of course, my watch list, see what's going on with that. And here we go. All right. I got to take this impact off because you know what? It's being manipulated. I mean, come on, $72 in volume. I'm just going to remove that. I don't know why that's on my list. You guys are always talking about ALBT being an ISO. Look at that, doing very, very well. 20% for the 24-hour chart, 94% for the 7-day chart, looking really good. A little bit more into it. Of course, there's Casper, like we mentioned. Mononoke Inu. Oh my goodness. All right. Nothing else too much, too significant in regards to all that. All right. So I want to start things off with this. I actually got to share a different way. And again, it's another nice video from Brad Garlinghouse. Just a short snippet, but I thought I would present it to you guys because I don't know. He's just got a way of getting the point across in a very passionate, but I guess you could say accepting great way to kind of, as I would say, get the blood flowing. So that's what we need to do. We need to get the blood flowing here. Hopefully more people will show up. Maybe it's just one of those types of days. I don't know. Maybe the the broadcast was too late, or I don't know. We just didn't have enough recorded. But you know what? We have been putting out a lot of records, so I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those weird days. But here we go. I'm going to share the tab, and we'll kick it right into that. All right. So it says right here, telling you the cross-border payments is just to break into the industry, trade FX, derivatives, and so much more. Lol. You can almost hear the XDC maxis quivering. Well, I don't like this. This is promoting, tribalism. I think that's silly, personally. But my thing is this. When I have both in your portfolio, I did want to, of course, play this because, maybe I could have got a different source than somebody that's trying to create tribalism among ISOs, really. But, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and show this. I didn't see a different one, so I thought, might as well just go with this guy. So it says, will you be there when XRP removes the friction? And we're going to go ahead and watch this right now.
Crypto is helping transform finance businesses today in a few different ways. And I think one of the challenges for the industry has been to focus on solving real problems for real customers. And Ripple, obviously, from its earliest days, focused on the problem around cross-border payments. That's a point of a lot of friction as measured by speed and cost. And by focusing there, we've been able to have a big impact on that, relatively small piece. But I think over the next years, you're going to see many financial transactions where a middleman sits, a middle transaction, an intermediary. Those will get removed, and we'll use blockchain and other digital asset type technologies to remove that friction. And I think all of society will benefit from improving the efficiency of those systems. I think you'll see that. Certainly, you've seen it in securities settlement as an opportunity. The financial transactions around bonds, around derivatives, a lot of these things take a while to settle, and the friction associated actually holds back the industry. Insurance is an industry I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later. I think this will permeate lots of different parts of our society.
All right, that was a nice piece from Brad Garlinghouse, who's the CEO of Ripple. Thought we'd go ahead and get things going with that. And let's see. I did see a few more people join, which is good. Just going to go ahead and just take a moment. That way, there's some good balance with the show. If I didn't say it already, Mr. Lambos. Can't say it like Larry, but yes. What's up, CTN fam? Yep, he just said it. Brian Dowie, good to see you. You guys saying hello to each other, of course. Saying hello to my girlfriend. That's nice. Thank you for that. Brian Dowie, XRP and Quant looking good again today, Max. Yes, they are. Especially, XRP. I believe 54 cents, something like that, maybe close to it. But nonetheless, nice to see it over 50 cents. You may feel as though, well, it's not nice to see it, Max. We want this to go back down to 30 cents before I can accumulate even that much more. We don't want it at 50 cents right now. We want the big time, prices after November. Well, I get that too. The handsome one, aka Mr. Pruden, he states, "Sup, Tim, Mike's wife, Max's wife, Mr. Lambo, Brian, and Edward." Wow. Well, thank you for that. I don't have a wife yet. She's my girlfriend, but maybe someday. All right. Brian Dowie says, "Sup, Jeff." And let's see. Tim Shea's loving the ISOs. Thank you. We'll probably do a few more. I don't know when we be completely finished, but even then, I mean, are we ever really finished with anything? Not really. But it's at least doing the outline for some of these that you guys haven't, seen before. And talking about them, because why not? Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk is saying what's up to Mr. Pruden. All right, the handsome one, 350Z, Jeff Pruden. Don't forget to talk about the Tonic and VVS. Well, maybe. We'll see how that goes. I mean, those are technically not ISOs, but we could probably talk about that for a brief bit. I think the reason why he wants me to talk about it is because last night we talked about how in the bull run, those erased at least 1-0. So the thing is, will that happen again? I don't see why it wouldn't. So yeah, we could talk about some of that in a bit, or maybe later into the show. Just double check on my settings. Tim Shea makes a very good point here. He states, anyone interested in bone, it dropped below $1. And that's a good thing to point out. I think we should just take a look to see what's going on with that. So let's see. I'll pull that up. All right. So in regards to bone, I did see it dropped. So maybe Mr. Maximus will finally get into this. I don't know. But there you have it. Some of you guys were stating the other night that you felt as though, I mean, it's a good opportunity. There's better opportunities. Since we have this up, I will bring this up in regards to VVS. So how about this? We do see that VVS is sitting at 0.3450, 5742. I bought a bunch of this back. I think it was late last year, or maybe it was beginning of the year. I can't remember, one or the other. But we basically saw this, erase quite a few zeros at one point. So like here's the high. It was all the way up to like 3 zeros, 1549. So it erased like 2 zeros at one point. Let me show you guys something. So similar to Tectonic, it released, right? But again, during the bull run, and the Tectonic was like right at the end of the bull run of 2021, and then it dropped, right? So I was trying to tell people, you can't realistically expect this to, just get back to like, new all-time highs or anything like that. But you could expect it to at least burn another zero in a bull run. So, if that's the case, we already saw, for instance, like it mentions here, 3 zeros, 0.30 is 1549. That would be 2 zeros, right, as high. So, I mean, on this particular one, I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing the math here. I don't even know if you can see the calculator. I don't think you can. But I'm looking at this particular price. And if you're to buy, for instance, I don't know. Let's do, I guess, 10 billion. How much would that be? That's too much. That's what it is. Let's see here. We'll just do like $1 billion. I think that's like about $5,000. I wouldn't personally do that. But see, $1 billion of the VVS finance times oh man, I'm not even pulling this up right. So I apologize. So yeah, here we go. 1 billion of these times the current amount, that would cost $5,742. Take that same amount, $1 billion, and then just say erase 1 0. So times 0. I don't know, 3, 4 zeros and a 1. All right, so you would be up to a balance of 10,000. So I mean, it's not quite even a 2x, and that's where you would be. I think the Tectonic one is a lot more attractive. I think that's the one we did last night. So I'm gonna pull that one up. Here we go. And knowing that, I mean, Tectonic has, in my opinion, more attractive yields on your staking if you use the crypto.com DeFi app. So we'll just pull that up real quick. So even on this one, it had a high of 5 zeros, 4029. Currently speaking, it's at 6 zeros, 1064. That makes a big difference. So we'll just use that for an example. And then on top of that, similar to VVS, I know we're going to, we're supposed to talk about the ISOs, but we're going to get into that in a second. Mr. Pruden has a way of like sidetracking the show. I'm kidding. All right. So yeah, it just kind of came out the gates, and it was at 0. Where are we at on here? Yeah, late 2021. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 zeros. So I mean, I totally see us being able to erase a zero again. Like here it says the low was 3670 actually at one point. So I don't really see it like getting to, you know, some of these crazy levels where it erases like 2 zeros. But again, based off of 1 0 in a bull run, it could very well happen. So we'll just go ahead and do that real quick. So have this up real quick. And let's just say, you know, you got like, I think the formula we used last time was 10 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. So, yeah. All right. So you get 10 billion of these things. It's going to cost 1,064. Of course, that's minus, not counting the fees, right? Or whatever other fees there are. So let's say you get 10 billion of those for that price. And in the bull run, it shaves off at least 1 0, which is totally doable. All right. And based on 1 0, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Yeah. So, I mean, you'd be at a balance of 10,000. So it's just that. Basically, you invest 1,000 in this, you should see it 10x, and that'd be roughly over 10,000. That's not too bad. He was saying that he wanted to do $10,000 into it, and you know, a 10x on that, of course, would be $100,000. And my attitude is, I'm not putting $10,000 into Tectonic. I'm not comfortable with that. But again, that's a whole debate of agreeing to disagree, where I don't know. I mean, there's always going to be that debate, you know. So, but 1,000 into it, I guess that wouldn't be too bad. And some people also make the same debate. Well, wouldn't you rather put like $1,000 into, you know, one of the ISOs compared to one of these? And I would be with you on that too. But again, we have made this show to a sense where it says preparing for November or preparing for the bull run. Those are other segments we've done. But we just want to take a moment to basically show you guys this. In regards to amount of holders, does it even show that? No, it doesn't even show that anymore. They used to show this. Sometimes they show it and sometimes they don't. I don't know if it's something they have with CMC. Like they say, hey, I don't want you guys to show that. But where the case be, I mean, it is a, you know, it is a token that is under the Kronos blockchain, which is good. And again, comparing Tectonic to VVS, I hold both, but I always thought Tectonic had more attractive staking, right? What you can earn on your investment. All right, let's get back to some of the comments before we kick things off into anything else. And let's see, Cool Cat Crypto, XRP and XDC are not competing. Yeah, I don't think they are either. But nonetheless, I thought I would just, I don't know if it was on here or some other one I was talking about maybe I was talking with somebody else about that earlier. Somebody was mentioning something about, you know, why have one and not the other, or trying to make it look like, you know, you can't have both. And I would agree with you. It's not a thing about it competing. It's not a thing about tribalism. I don't know why people want to do that. This is what I was trying to say earlier. All right. You're talking to each other. That's good. Good to see you, Cool Cat, by the way. The handsome 1350C. I'm jumping on coins every week from now until the recovery. Okay. VVS and Tectonic. Cool. Max P, enjoying the show, Max, while watching the Mets. All right. Well, good luck to your Mets. Let me see about that, actually. I'm going to double check myself. Just for a brief moment. I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about it. So I see. Oh, there it is. Game 3 against San Diego, huh? And what's the live score on that? 4-0 San Diego. Well, I wish your Mets, not your Nets. I wish your Mets the very best. Who knows? Maybe they can pull it out. It's bottom of the 7th right now, so you guys already had your 7th inning stretch in between. But good luck to Mr. Max P's New York Metropolitans. Okay. All right. The handsome one, 350Z. Oh, and more quant. Yeah, I need to get more quant too. I only have 3.1. I want to get a full 10 as my minimum. Preference is 20. After that, I don't think I'll be loading up anymore on that. Day trading. Harry Hollow Man. Good to see you, day trading. Good old Brad. Yep, Garlinghouse. All right. Let's go a little bit further down. He's saying sup all. Any thoughts on HOLO? Isn't that the hot coin, if I'm not mistaken? Let me see about that. Unless I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, that is the hot coin. I knew that was the right one. It's just attractive as far as like the price, but I did a little bit of research into it, not enough to actually do a proper analysis about it. So I'm not going to at the moment. But I do see that it keeps hovering between, top 90 or 100 and so on. Like right now it's 99, and as you know, 100 would be US TC, formerly known, the unstable stable coin. All right. Hey, Bitcoin BMW, good to see you. It says howdy at Max and everyone. Thank you very much. Good to see you. All right. He wants to know who short XRP at 54 cents. Yeah, that's a good question. Some people made money on that, obviously. Tim Shea, what is that, Brian? All right, hold on a second. Let me go further down. Cool Cat Crypto says that XRP keeps inching up, and it does. And I like the idea that it has like new retracement areas or new support, I should say. And I don't think it's going to just do anything like crazy, like 60, 70 cents overnight until we get to November. And then that's a whole other ball game in itself. All right. Now we got Selma Fudd. Good to see you. I didn't say anything to you earlier. Like to welcome you. Totally new avatar for it. Okay. Menelek. Good to see you. He says, hello. How about Quant Partner Alliance block? We can pull that up in a little bit. Let me get further down into the comments, and then we'll just go ahead and see about pulling that up. Edward of Crypto Talk Now VR says, cool stuff, Senor Max. Thank you. Muchos gracias. Senor Edward, Senor Vincent. All right. Tim Shea with a new, what's that? Banana Task Force Ape NFT. I could be wrong. Day trading. Harry Say it short XRP to, was that 30 cents? Yikes. Cool Cat Crypto. Dear God, it runs on Ethereum. Yeah. All right. Tim Shea, Cool Cat. Do you think XRP will dip at all? I want more. All right. It might. Cody Core, Maximum Max, Tim Shea. What a name. Well, good to see you, Cody Core. Always sporting the world famous Bam Bam Bigelow beanie. All right. Let me go further down. Cody Core again. Where is the best place to purchase or officially license Decent Wallet? I don't know. That's a good question. Somebody here in the crowd can help you. I want to go back to what Menelek was talking about. I'm actually going to pull it up right now. Let me see. See if I could just get that real quick while you guys are having a little conversation. All right. There we go. All right. I got that. That was actually a while back, but let me see if I could pull up anything else more recent. Let me see. Recent news, anything like that. Yeah, we got something somewhat recent. Hold on. This is from the World Economic Forum. The only thing I don't like is all these cookie exceptions, but that's okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and just take a moment in regards to this. I'm just going to go a little bit more further down. Tim Shea says, yes, I probably should just buy it. All right. You asked some questions. I'm sorry. Roberto Ramos, sorry. Check out Mojo Token on Eastside if you can. Only about 90K market cap, and the chart looks strong. All right, well, maybe we'll get into that in just a bit. We're just going to take a moment to look at this particular piece from Alliance Block. I'm going to go ahead and present that right now. And here we go. All right, so this is one that was actually from August, but it's the most recent one I could find. Again, there might be other ones that are from community-based news, let's face it, but I wanted to bring this one up. So it states, shaping the future of technology, governance, blockchain, and digital assets. We are going to take a moment to watch the overview. And this, of course, is right on the... let's try to see if there's somebody saying I was muted or something. This is, of course, right on the tab, so we can go ahead and share this right now. Let's go ahead and watch it. Oh, I got to unmute this. There we go.
Blockchain technology is not just coming, it's already here. Blockchain technology is going to redistribute power in society. And I think companies that are not paying attention to that redistribution will be left on the cutting room floor. There's a common misconception in the business community that blockchain is a highly risky technology. It is true, it's a nascent technology. It's in the early stages. However, there are incremental ways of deploying the technology, for example, via supply chain deployments or in kind of back operations or back office ways that carry a lot less risk and allow engagement with the technology in a way that makes you more familiar with it. What we're trying to do in our work is identify gaps in governance that are impeding the adoption of this technology. And we're looking at projects that will help minimize the risks of the technology and really focus on its potential for financial inclusion and for betterment of society altogether. It's not really important that you understand how blockchain works. It matters that you know what it's for. It matters that you know what it's not for. And it matters that you know how to get from the place you are now to a place where you're using it seamlessly and frictionlessly in your own systems. We are anchoring our projects on what the technology actually is useful for. What is fitness for purpose? And how can we create policies that accelerate the adoption of the technology for those purposes, but also impede its adoption purposes that are not really right for it? We're looking sector by sector at public-private partnership models that can really facilitate the use of the technology for social benefit. So as an example, our project located in Colombia is focusing on reducing corruption in public procurement. And what we're doing is we're actually launching a blockchain-backed system that can accept bids for government contracts. And we're looking at if we educate the population and civil society organizations, the media and others about what information goes through the system, could that actually call out corruption earlier and in fact disincentivize corrupt actors from even accessing the system in the first place? We're currently working with over 100 companies, private sector companies. We're working with around 25 key startups, including unicorns. We're working with 8 different governments. And one of the benefits, I think, of engaging with our platform is the ability to really understand in real time what's happening on the cutting edge of this technology. We are the only institution in the world that is engaging in a globally oriented, inclusive, public-private stakeholder engagement model. And we're thinking about how this technology might actually bring together and serve as a commonality, a common point of engagement for different countries, different companies, different types of companies, and really serve as the operating system for the new economy.
All right. That was pretty interesting. I'm glad we watched that. So like it mentions, shaping the future of technology, governance, blockchain, and digital assets. So that was a nice video. I won't read all of this. Maybe I'll read a good part of it. But it states, ensuring equity, interoperability, transparency, and trust in the governance of distributed ledger technology. You immediately think of quant, right? And rightfully so, right? I mean, we're talking about this partnership. It says, and accelerating the necessary changes for this technology to reach its full potential. Now, of course, this was taken back in August, and I realized, that was, let's face it, like a couple of months ago, but it's still valid even right now, and it gives you an idea of what they're trying to accomplish, and how this thing basically evolves to where it needs to be to have that global adoption, like she was pointing out. Blockchain, of course, is an early stage. That technology enables the decentralized and secure storage of transfer of information. Could become a powerful tool for tracking transactions that can minimize friction, reduce corruption. I think that's a real key part right there. Think about, why some countries even took in Bitcoin as their legal tender. I should say some countries. In reality, was it El Salvador and there's even Bitcoin Island, and of course there's this whole debate like, man, they overpaid for it. They did, let's face it. They're actually in debt in regards to that, but they understood the concept behind it, blockchain technology, whether Bitcoin has that utility or not. Of course, we'll get a little bit more into all that later. But I love that statement, reduces corruption, because everything is, in blockchain, you're supposed to be able to view it. Hence, if you ever use Etherscan, you go into Etherscan and you can see what has basically happened, right? It's really easy stuff. So increase trust and empower users while still, excuse me, nascent cryptocurrencies built on distributed ledger technologies have emerged as potential gateways to new wealth creation. That's why I'm in it. That's probably why a lot of you guys are in it, let's face it, and disruptors across financial markets. Other revolutionary use cases are being explored in almost every sector, ranging from energy and shipping to media. DLT has the potential to transform entire systems, but it also faces challenges including lack of interoperability, security threats, centralization of power, and unwillingness to experiment due to recent overhype. Now, this last statement, I just want to point this out. This where it says it also faces challenges including lack of interoperability, security threats, centralization of power, and unwillingness to experiment due to recent overhype. To me, and maybe I'll get a pat on the back on this one, I don't know. I'm not really looking for that. But I could totally see Cool Cat Crypto agreeing with me on this. And that is, when I think of, for instance, security threats, I immediately think of like Ethereum's blockchain, right? Tons of security threats. It's not the greatest, blockchain out there. It's slow, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the biggest things that, was an issue was the security threats, especially when you have a brand new ERC20 token that's released and so on. They just kind of whip it together and they kind of hope for the best, where compared to other solid, blockchains, right? They're a lot better, where, they took the time to, do a proper contract, whatever you want to call it, to basically fix some of the security threats that are basically known. So you can have like an ERC20 contract, but at least you took the liberties to realize that, hey, out of the box, we can't just release this as is. We're going to have to patch this thing up. You guys realize, of course, some of those ones from the past and whatnot that it came out last year. And I'm not just even starting off with there. I mean, let's face it, there's been threats on other blockchains, Solana, Avalanche, you name it, right? But that whole statement of the security threats, that could even exist with let's face it, some of these other ones. I mean, heck, even XRP and so on, right? It doesn't mean just because you have the best overall blockchain that there's never going to be security threats. At the end of the day, technically speaking, like Mr. Wonderful pointed out, this is software. And since it is software, there will always be ongoing threats. So I want people to just kind of understand that blockchain is not, invulnerable to any type of security threat, no matter if it's a crappy blockchain that has stupid crazy fees like Ethereum, or one of the best blockchains out there, whatever whatever one you're a fan of, right? I'm not going to get into that, but that's just an example I wanted to give. This bottom part, I'm not going to really read that. I want to get a little bit more into some of these other things. I'm going to do a stop share, just kind of catch up on some of the comments. I do see we have a few more people. Roberto Ramos states to check out that Mojo token on the east side if you can. Only about 90K market cap, and the chart looks strong. We'll take a moment just to briefly do that. I'm going to see if I can pull that up on CoinMarketCap. If I can't, or on CoinGecko, then I'm going to move on, because it's nothing against it. It's just I don't want to ruin the flow too much about it. And I do appreciate you mentioning that. I don't want you to feel like you can't. You're always welcome to ask questions here, even if it's not about the topic. So Mojo token, all right? Let's see if I could actually just pull that right up. And let's see. All right, so I'm thinking that I have the right one. I'm just going to do a share. All right. So hopefully this is the one you're talking about. You did say $90,000 market cap. I'm thinking might be around what you're talking about. Let me see what we can pull up. I guess it's its own blockchain. I mean, okay, I guess so. Huh. Well, I'll just do some brief things about it. All right, for the high of compared to last year, it was up to 4 cents. Let me see. So big spike back in 2018. Been around for a long time, man. All the way since 2016. This is something that's going to require a deep dive, my friend. You can give us a quick gist about this if you want. This is one's going to take a little bit more too much time. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll add to my favorites. Maybe I'll take more of a look into it. There we go. All right. But I do appreciate it. He said only 90K market cap and the chart looks strong. Okay. Hopefully that's the right one. All right. Cool Cat. Be careful with the cold wallet scams. Crypto Mike. They are competing, but some are more in their infancy and have many more times coming than another. Quant, for example, being around $1 or less. Excuse me. Cool Cat Crypto. Always buy directly from manufacturer's website. Never use Amazon. Cody Core. Tis why I'd be asking. You like it, Cool Cat. All right. You guys talking to each other. That's good. Okay. You're answering this question from earlier. I do appreciate that. Kind of a little bit behind on here. Day Train says, I joke there. I know you were not Harry. Got you. Remember, the 5th of November, says Cool Cat Crypto. Or in our case, 16th to 17th of November. All right, so I asked Mike Cornwell this last night. So on the show, we had an actual date, which said, November 15th. Now, I'll be honest, why specifically November 15th? Is that because there's a certain country that's going to be flipping the switch earlier than everybody else? What is that? Maybe share a little bit about your thoughts, because you mentioned the 16th and 17th. And if that's the case, that tells me that's in direct correlation to, come on, 15th, 16th, 17th, right? All right. Cody Core says ALBT, they're partners with HBAR and more. Thank you for pointing that out. Cool Cat. I effed up and only got one, then realized I wanted another one, so I paid full price twice. Okay. Cody Core says the decentralized wallet website has an available at Amazon on it. It makes me nervous. Okay. All right. So you guys are still talking to each other. That's fine. Let me go further down. Yes, by all means, smash that like button if you guys don't mind. Or he'll get explosive yucky. That's disgusting. Must have ate too much Taco Bell, which becomes taco smell. All right. Cool Cat Crypto, Mojo Coin, Jim Morrison Crypto. Ugh. All right. I mean, I like Jim Morrison, but I mean, never mind. I don't want to think of his mojo. The Hanson one, 350. Maybe too much Indian food, Edward. Yeah, too much curry. No, thank you. Day trading. Imagine you order Cold Wallet from eBay and they have a copy of it and got your crypto. Why? I don't get that. I mean, but okay, I see what you're saying. Cool Cat Crypto. Oh boy, you guys still talking about tacos. All right, hold on a second. Let me go a little bit further down. Hey Max, did you see proof of Mononoke? No, not really. Are you talking about they actually came out with a game? Elaborate on that. And what is it? Somebody actually had a 8-bit Nintendo developer kit or something to develop games on the old 8-bit NES. Because I mean, that's basically what the video Larry made a while back shows a guy who looks like E Honda from Street Fighter taking a freaking dump on the community. It's horrible. Max, look up Telcoin. Okay, I mean I can, but why? Why should I look that up? Let me see. Telcoin. Why? Let's see. Okay. Top 300. Currently at less than a penny. One point it was up to 3 cents, 3.5 cents. Okay, it's got verified market cap of 82 million. And back in May, it was almost 4 cents at one point. All right, it was over 4 cents. It was about 5 cents. Okay. So what's the deal with this? Let me see. Send money smarter. Sounds like Western Union, but better. Telecoin creates low-cost, high-quality financial products for every mobile phone user in the world. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll have to look more into it. There's so many to look into, you know. But if it's got potential, it's got potential. I add to my watch list along with a bunch of other stuff. I do appreciate it. I'm not laughing in a bad way, like I'm laughing at you, my friend. I'm looking at all the things I need to research just for the heck of it. Because there's some good ones out there other than what we normally look at. I don't want you to think that I'm stating that there isn't. So you stop share. All right. But thank you for that, Max P. Red coin cards, mid-November, judging by the downward BTC trend, end of the wedge, not necessarily up or down, just end of a trend. Okay, that's a good statement. Crypto Talk Now VR, Mr. Vincent. It was India, yeah. That's going to be hitting it early. Yeah. Jim Morrison was Mr. Mojo Rising. Oh boy. All right. Red coin cards. Been fascinating me too. Curious to see what happens. Got in late. Always a great show. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you. At least you have a custom avatar. Tim Shea, Cypherium is on Maxi. You guys briefly talk about that every now and then. Why do you guys mention that one so much? Or I should say, even just kind of like blasé about it. Tell me more. Give me more. All right. Vincent, as in Edward, not the brother Charles, states he's got his ledger at the local flea market. Okay. I mean, you got to get it where you got to get it, right? Tim Shea, it's a new token. Are you referring back again to that one you were stating earlier, Cypherium? Give me some clarification. All right. The blue one, Blue L Ricky with the Fast and Furious Dominic Toretto avatar for Fast and Furious, the first one, which is literally just called The Fast and the Furious, where he drives a 1997 red Mazda RX-7 at the beginning of the movie. And at the end, of course, he drives either a 1969 or 70, can't remember exactly, Dodge Charger. He states, "Hi all, how is everyone doing tonight? Doing great, good to see you." And we're going to move along to Hey Ricky by Cool Cat Crypto. He's doing fantastic. All right, a little bit further down. Red Coin Cards, thoughts on most secure software wallet? I don't know. To be honest, right now, I can't recommend one. I know some of you guys here could probably do a better job recommending one than I could. Blue Whale Ricky says, "Hi, Cool Cat." Salamander in space. What's up, guys? Back again. Was on vacation. What's up with ISO 222? Well, there's a few things that are, kind of up in regards to it. Nothing like monumental yet. But there's a few key dates that apparently keep popping up. One originally was the 15th, and then, of course, we saw Cool Cat mentions the 16th and 17th. Trying to find out specifically why that is. I'll have to look more into that. Because if we're getting specific dates now, you know how that works. That'll be a case of buy the rumor, sell the ISO, right? Let's go a little bit more further. You guys are welcome, Salamander. That's good to see you, of course, Salamander. Cool Cat says, Decent, Lipple, Titan, Ledger, all good wallets. All right. Blue Eye Ricky, my new profile picture is my favorite actor, Vin Diesel. Yeah. A little known fact, his first big film was Saving Private Ryan, the 1998 blockbuster. He played the role of Private Adrian Caparzo. He ended up getting killed by a German sniper in the middle of that town. And yeah. All right. Tim Shea says proof of Mononoke. Yeah, proof of anything when it comes to them. All right, Tim Shea. This PFP is one of 2 free NFTs I received for holding Banana Task Force Ape NFT I won from Marbles. Well, if you won it from Marbles, that tells me you got it from Mr. 2-Bit Crypto, and that's awesome. But yeah, I did recognize it was Banana Task Force Ape. Right on. How much is it worth? Are you cool sharing that? And Cool Cat Crypto says Cypherium was once called DIEM. It was made by Mark Zuckerberg, who intended to launch his own currency. Our government said not so fast and made Zuck sell Diem. Wow. Okay, but here's the thing. So where does it go from here, Cool Cat? Like, we know the history behind that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when we mentioned Jasmine, you know, launched at like what, $4.50. Great launch, boom, tanked, you know, and then there's regulation that says that, you know, it's kind of like similar to XRP to a sense when it comes to Japan, and they're going through that whole thing, and we're of course buying it for literally under a penny. But again, it's another case of knowing the history behind it, getting into it just in case the thing takes off in a good direction. Is that the whole outlook with it? I mean, like, is there any positive catalyst? Because I mean, everything you mentioned, to me, that just sounds like the death of a token. Where do they go from here? This is my main key takeaway. Blue L Ricky, thoughts on Luna Classic burn? I'm thinking between 1 billion and 2 billion. We'll get a little bit into Luna Classic, maybe a little bit later if we can. Mainly because I did get an announcement. And you know what? I think I'll just do it right now. I forgot about that. So when we were watching the video earlier, I do have an update. Came on my phone straight from KuCoin. Here it is. States. This was 21 minutes ago. Luna Classic rises 4.5% in 24 hours. I think that was the volume though. Hold on a second. Let me get it's a ticker that goes across. I have to wait for it. It's kind of slow. So Luna Classic rises by 4.5%. Yeah, 24 hours. Okay. So it says Luna Classic has become the most traded coin in the past hour at a current price of 0.00030,491. So tap, of course, to check it out. We can take a moment to look at it here before we kick it more into the ISOs. Let me see. So I'm just going to share the screen here in a moment. Here we go. All right, so they said within the last hour. So I'm just going to click the 2 hour. All right, and put on 1 hour for the heck of it. Ah, crap. All right, so recent trades. That's a lot of recent trades. That's a lot of green too. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, it's up 4.5%, which is good. These are just 1 hour candles, like Mike Cornwell was mentioning to everybody the other day. Like whatever's set to here is based on that particular thing. So if I did 1 day, those are 1 day candles, 12-hour candles, 4 hours. You know, you get the gist. So this is for the 1 hour. But that looks pretty darn nice, especially over towards this right side. And yeah, I mean, you see some red right there for some sells, but I don't know. I mean, for KuCoin to send me an announcement that says that, I think that's pretty significant. And we'll have to see where it goes. Could it be a sign of, this whole thing with Binance? Could be. But, we will not fully know. I mean, just because this thing is starting to get momentum, we'll double check it later and see what happens with that. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. It resurfaced under the name Cypherium. Oh, okay, that's why you guys are talking about. All right. Same exact code. Okay. Tim Shea says 0.05 ETH. It should go up, though, as NFTs sell. It's their new mint. All right, thanks for the info. Cool Cat states he thinks it will be used for something because it's a quality blockchain. Okay. Is there any type of ecosystem already? Menelec, Cypherium is solid. All right, you guys seem to like that. That's good. Let me try to add it to my own list then. Hold on a second. Okay, I see it, which is CPH. I'm sure that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, it has to be. It says it's a coin. It's not a token. Let's add that to my list. Sitting at I guess a little over 3 cents is the right one we're talking about. All right. Coolcat says he doesn't have any Cypherium, but he wants some. Blue Oriki KuCoin is not burning, correct? Last I checked, they are, but not off chain, like on chain, but not off chain. Then again, don't quote me on that. If there's another update that came in which they're not doing squat, please let me know. But that's the last thing I saw. Damon Vargas, Max, is there a particular DeFi ecosystem you use most over all the others? Oh man, like personally use, or one that I've been researching a lot. Big difference. I would definitely say, like as far as being invested into one, I'm gonna have to obviously go with I guess Cardano. Heck, I mean, technically speaking, I don't know, maybe Polygon. I don't know. That's a good question. I have to get back to you on that. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. My only problem with Cypherium is Neo Cold Storage Wallet. Why is that? All right, Menelec. Did anyone agree with Hoskinson saying the XRP army were conspiracy theorists regarding the SEC and Eastgate? I didn't see him say that. I have to check that out. Was that recent? Because here's the thing. I mean, there's technically a lot of XRP conspiracy theorists. I mean, I've heard people even in the comments state that Rich of Common Sense Crypto is a conspiracy theorist. That's not me bashing him or anything. I wouldn't do that to another influencer, but there has been a lot of, XRP is conspiracy theorist type people. What was the other one I saw a while back? I saw this other one that said basically the only true ISO holders are those that hold XLM. If you can imagine this is nuts in my opinion. Stating that the reason for it is because the federal government, the only one they officially chose was Stellar Lumens, which is technically true if you want to look at it from a Fed perspective. But that in itself, it just sounds bogus because, I mean, with, things are coming out in 2023 and, of course, eventually the United States being on the board with ISO by 2025. I mean, but I don't know, man. There's just a lot of weird statements when it comes to all that. I try not to get too crazy about it. I don't want to turn anything into, the reason why, these people are this way because, they're secretly going to Bohemian Grove and they're part of the Illuminati. And it just, no, I'm not going to even get into that. Anyway, Damon Vargas, which do you think is best and easiest to use? Well, as far as ease of access, I don't know, man. I'm going to have to go with Polygon. I think, again, Clearpool is going to, when they eventually get to their own blockchain, which is one of their goals, I think that one's going to be super easy to use. And if anything, it will attract more of that institutional money because it already is with what they got going on. I mean, technically they're a contract with Ethereum, but again, like I pointed out many times before, just because your original contracts with Ethereum doesn't mean you can't heavily modify that. Again, it's just a template. People see the whole thing like, oh God, it was originally ERC20. Well, that's the case. Why do we even talk about quant? You know what I mean? So it just, I feel as though that as far as the easiest ones to use, it just depends on you as the user. Are you using it basically on an Android app, an iPhone app? Are you like me? Do you prefer to just use all this on a web-based application? There's so many different factors when it comes to that. Let's see here. Crypto Talk Now VR, go ISO. Yeah, we'll get more into that, the actual show, right? Already 55 minutes into it. My goodness. All right. It's just we get sidetracked sometimes. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I understand what you guys are used to. Metalec, Eastgate is not a conspiracy theorist. Hinman did act to give Ethereum clarity because he received 15 million. Okay. I don't know. My thing is, it's just I don't. It's not that I don't like some of the statements. It's just, the whole thing with like XLM and XRP, that whole debate, if you look more into it, is just, I mean, my thing is I try not to get where it affects me personally. Like, again, kind of like tribalism with, meme-based cryptos, if you will, like of late last year. I still don't get why people make that much a big deal about it. Like Shiba Inu compared to, some of these other ones and whatnot. I mean, at the end of the day, all of them are, let's face it, meme tokens or ERC20 contracts, but yet they want to be like, the Volt army is better than this one, or this army is better than this other one. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I mean, they are all technically ERC20. They all have the same type of contract, but they have different communities. Is really one community better than the other? It would seem to be the case, but why even create tribalism to begin with? I mean, it's supposed to be crypto. We're supposed to be all in this together, but I get it. Some people want to create like a big controversy over stuff. All right, day trading. What will happen if you double $20 6 times? You state $20 times 2, 40, 40 times 2, 80. On 6th time, you get 1,200. That simple? I don't know what you're referring to, but maybe. All right, Sumo FUD. Proof of XRP. Okay, proof of stake, proof of XRP. Okay, I get what you're saying. All right, Metalec. XSP X swap on the XDC network has a very good entry point. I like the tokens attached to ISO 222 compliant coins/networks. All right, XSP and GBEX, you state. Yep, we love them both. All right, let me get into the next segment of this. I'm gonna stop this and let's get right into it. All right, so I already showed you guys that. Now I want to show you guys this. So this comes from the Vincent Owens. He just kind of like retweeted this, right? He's an award-winning author and entrepreneur, speaker, and coach. I might have to network with him. So actually, I'm gonna follow him, and I might have to see like how well he actually speaks and so on. He's actually a kind of like us, a crypto evangelist. That's a good way of putting it. But I like this retweet that he basically brought to everybody, which states Rosie Rios, former U.S. Treasurer and presently on the board of Ripple, is telling you that blockchain technology is here to stay. We already know this, but still, it's how she puts it. It's the message that she delivers. And she basically states this guy states it's here to stay and isn't going anywhere. Governments and these businesses have no choice but to collaborate. Hashtag XRP, XDC, Quant, Algorand, and Hedera's HBAR. Here we go. Let's take a moment. And I believe I have it shared on the right one. No, I do not. Let me do the tab. My bad. That would have sounded awful. There we go.
I'm Rosie Rios, former Treasurer of the United States and current board member of Ripple. What I like to talk about is really kind of this intersection between government and innovation. Certainly coming from the Bay Area, born and raised in Silicon Valley, I've seen a lot of change over time. And what I love is the conversation is really starting to happen in a constructive way where I think we as a region, we as a country, and perhaps we as a globe could really think about the future of fintech and who the stakeholders are and how we can make this effective for everyone. So when you think about growth, it's not just kind of GDP growth, which of course is a big part of the economy, but it's also where new growth comes from. And that usually comes from, certainly lately, in technology and innovation. So I think the benefit of why business and government should be working together is, again, providing that level of certainty for further expansion, further growth, and certainly more jobs for the economy. So blockchain is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And so it's not just how to facilitate commerce. There are other applications, whether it's NFTs whether it's, selling real estate, whether it's, any type of financial ledger that can be recorded for posterity's sake. This is here to stay. And it's important and incumbent upon the government at every level, whether it's local, whether it's state, whether it's national, to really give some thought as to how those applications are going to benefit them and benefit everyone. But I think what's most important is, what are those guardrails? What are those tracks that we can lay down in order to move forward in a way that really blazes the trail for future growth and future opportunities that we don't even know are there yet?
All right, so that was, just making sure you can hear me. That was Rosie Rios, again, former U.S. Treasurer. And that was a nice little snippet, right? It's good to see people like this who used to be part of government saying positive things for the likes of, certain ones, that are part of ISO, right? We, of course, covered quite a bit about, XRP, Quant in the past and so on. We're trying to show you guys a little bit more in regards to XDC and some of these other ones. And it's just that you're not going to be able to cover it all in, like one show. So I definitely wanted to show you guys that. There's another one I'm going to show you right now. I'm just going to copy and paste it over here. That way I don't have to just, zoom out. So there's this one. You might have already seen this, but this guy does a good job of explaining it. Basically what XDC is, just in case if you don't know. It's one thing, you join a show and you see people talk about some of these ones out here, for instance, XDC and some, other ISOs, but it's like you don't really quite understand it. This guy does a pretty good job explaining it in like under a minute. So we're going to take a moment to basically listen to this, and we'll get right back into it.
I'm going to explain to you what the XDC network is in 60 seconds. The XDC network is the hybrid blockchain built by the company Zenfin. It's a global open source delegated proof of stake consensus network enabling hybrid relay bridges, instant block finality, and interoperability with ISO 222 messaging standards. The network's ISO 222 compatible messaging system allows for seamless integration with core banking systems, ERP systems, and SWIFT systems. Also, XDC's unique public-private hybrid blockchain system targets institutional use in trade, finance, and asset tokenization. Protocol is also EVM compatible, enabling ERC20 and ERC271 tokens to be easily migrated over to the XDC network. Smart contracts and dApps can be leveraged on the XDC network as well. This enables businesses to automate their processes and to become fully interoperable between blockchains and legacy systems. Be sure to follow me for the pros and the cons in the next one.
All right, that was just, a nice little brief thing. I mean, why not share it? I thought you did a very good job in that regard. We'll take a moment, of course, to check out a couple more comments. And in the process of doing so, I'm just going to share this Luna Classic one. That way you guys can have a nice chart to look at. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. He states, haha, all you need to know. Former Treasury Secretary now on board of Ripple. How obvious does it have to get? Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you said that because, if it's so shady and such a, horrible thing, why would somebody like that be all on board for it? And only that, I mean, the other video I showed before, which shows literally like the George Washington thing where it's blowing up. Maybe we'll do that one again, but, all right, so we're at the bottom of the comments. Let's get more into the actual show. I'm going to show you a little bit more here. It is another video. So we're just going to do the tab. And let's see. Oh, boy, it's me. Don't want to share me off of YouTube. I want to do it a different way. Here we go. I see it now. There we go. All right. So this particular one states what you need to know to make it with the X assets. Beware of FUD, of course, XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on. This one's about a little under 3.5 minutes, but again, does a very good job of explaining some of this. So in regards to all this, this is from the Audacious Investor and the the actual area where you could find this is what is referred to YouTube chapters, if you ever used them before, or sections. It's called Cryptocurrency Investing for Beginners. It's a course. So here we go.
You have to understand that the powers that be are not going to make this easy for us by telling us and to just go and buy these X assets, as they will be leveraging them via their interlinking systems in cross-border payments. They're not going to come out and say it to us. Instead, even when they talk about interlinking payment systems and cross-border payments, sometimes they completely even ignore the DOT-based RTGS payment systems as a potential option. And they do that all the time. They ignore it. And they mention all these other solutions, but the solution. And I think it's deliberate why they do this on their part, because they are fully aware of what DOT-based tech offers them. It's not like they're ignorant. It's not like they're not aware of what Ripple has to offer. They are fully aware of what these systems have to offer, but they are deliberately not mentioning it in their documents. Because think about it, what do you think would happen if they just come out and say, oh yeah, we're going to be leveraging the DOT-based RTGS Ripple system for all our cross-border payments, and we're going to be using it to interlink FedNow with all the other instant domestic payment systems around the world, and we're going to be using IBM WorldWire to do the same thing for our retail payments and for the FedWire and the CHAPS and all the major high-value payment systems. We're going to be leveraging Ripple. What do you think is going to happen to these X assets if they were to come out and tell us that right now? So that's why they're not telling us this. Instead, they just leave ambiguous information out there, and we are just putting the dots together to coming up to the conclusion that yes, they're going to be using this, even though they're not telling us this outright. So this is why if you are holding the X assets, you need to be steadfast, have a long-term vision, be thick-skinned, be able to hold through the FUD and market crashes, or when prices don't increase when you expect them to, because in the end, these assets, these X assets, are not for retail investors, but institutions. And when they decide to flip the switch and utilize them whenever they wish, only those that truly had the patience until then would benefit from it, potentially speaking. Most retail investors won't make it, unfortunately. And that's the reality. Most retail investors are just not going to make it, because it's a long game and it requires lots of patience. This is why people have to be patient. You have to be thick-skinned. You have to have long-term vision. You have to be steadfast, and you can't fall for the FUD. And just think about this for a second. If November comes, because we know in November ISO 20022 is going to go live in the Eurozone and with SWIFT and so on. Now, if November comes and the price of the X assets did not budge, then what? What are you going to do? At this stage, the FUD would be intense if that happens. So what are you going to do? Are you selling or holding strong? And that's the difference basically between retail investors who will make it and those who wouldn't in this space. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so as to not miss my.
All right. So you make some good, valid points. I think it's a lot of times, it's just like that. You have a situation in which, you heard from so and so about such and such, thing. Heck, I'll give you an example. This happened back in April, right, with Zilliqa's Metopolis. It was a perfect case of buy the rumors, sell the news. It's this thing about in Miami, they're going to have the full unveiling of Metopolis, the greatest metaverse since sliced bread, basically. And so, everybody wanted to see the footage. Nobody was showing it. And I thought, of course, you know what? I'm going to hop on that. I'm going to leak the footage. And I did. And it wasn't me personally, right? But I basically took a bunch of clips from that particular event and made a video out of it. And again, I met the demand. And as a result, to this day, those are my most highly viewed crypto videos, right? Like 3,500, 4,000 views, something like that. For me and my size of channel, that was huge. But the point I'm trying to basically make here is that was a perfect example. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Literally, it was spin in a way in which it made people feel as though they're going to get a full unveiling of this complete full release of Metopolis. As we know, Metopolis didn't have a full release. And but here's the thing. it was a case, like I mentioned, of buy the rumor, sell the news, and Zilliqa's price went to new all-time highs. It was like well over 22 or 23 cents at the time. Now it's back to like 3 cents. But what I'm saying is the current buy the rumor, sell the news is, oh man, I got to prepare for November. And it's very well possible that those things won't happen. Me personally, I still think it's going to happen. It just makes sense that it would because of the, the demand of what's going to happen with seeing the utility be put into full action. Why wouldn't the price reflect that? But again, like he mentioned, I mean, the true investors, like how patient are you really? Are you literally just going to dump your whole position because things don't go your way or it doesn't happen overnight? Or in this case, we're looking at November 15th, November 16th, 17th, and so on. Projecting that it's going to happen all within those 3 days. No, it might not work that way. Just for example, that the SEC lawsuit getting dropped might not happen during the time frame that you're hoping it's going to happen. Are you going to sell for a loss? Again, it's awarding those who are most patient. As the saying goes, when it comes to crypto, if you don't sell, you're actually not going to lose. You only lose when you officially choose to sell. You've come this far in this huge, long marathon of crypto winter. So why would you want to be rushing into something to just say goodbye to it? That's just me personally. I'm not telling you what to do. But I did think he did a very good job of explaining that in that particular video. All right, let's go a little bit more into the comments. Cool Cat Crypto says it's a revolving door. Larry Bear be running for the XRP buy button. I think eventually he will. The X Factor, you guys love it. That's great, says Tim Shea. That triple X Factor, yep. Cool Cat Crypto, 1 month and a half from now, we might all be loaded. We might be. That would be, oh my gosh, like the greatest blessing of all time. Koi Core, my answer to that, buy more. Yep. And of course, Cool Cat Crypto states that should be a requirement for future cryptos, full release. Yes. Thank you for stating that. I'm so sick and tired of like investing in what could be, or here's a preview of such and such. And then we just get great big disappointment because then we got to go from that, have all the investors come on in. And then from there, these guys basically take what we poured into it, and then they just take off to some random country for hookers and blow or something with our investments. Let's just be honest about it. It's ridiculous. And then they try to hype things up for another whole year, and everything's gonna be great. And then guess what happens? Oh well, we got to give you guys a V2. Well, a V2. I was attracted to all these zeros for a reason, man. Because if we supposedly shave off 3 of them, I'm supposed to be worth a crazy amount of money. Whatever happened to that? Well, you gotta understand, this particular exchange doesn't like all this and all that, with the zeros and how the API is designed. That is not on me as a investor. Yeah, I'm supposed to do my own research, but you, as the crypto developer, you should have done more of your own research and not had us get into this when it wasn't quite ready yet. Anyway, red coin cards can't fail until you quit. Yes, that should be a bumper sticker. Can't fail until you quit. I like that. All right, let's kick into the next thing. We're at right about an hour and 14 minutes. Cool Cat Crypto states like that Saitama dude and his wife. Oh, that powder. Yeah, I saw that whole controversial thing that was released. What was it today? That came out. I don't know what to say about the whole thing. I think it'd be a miracle if you, me, others, whoever's in it, maybe in the bull run, I don't know, could get to the profits. Any type of profit I could get in that, I'm out. There's no moon bag when it comes to that. I am literally out. Even if that means I profit $100, or I have to figure out how much ETH gas fees I did. But where that number is, after that, I'm out. I don't care what they promise. I'm out 100%. The handsome one, 350C. Let's go. Quant is looking so sexy. It is looking kind of sexy, isn't it? We'll take a moment to see what's going on with Quant. Let's see. So QNT. Yep. 153, something like in that range. It's just there's so many attractive things about it. The market cap, where it ranks, circulating supply especially, and even the max and total supply are mirrored of each other. And even on that one day, it just looks very healthy. Everything about it just looks really, really good. All right. Let's share the other one for a moment. While we do that, here we go. All right. That is nuts. Yeah, it is. All right. Tim Shea says, I was in a space where his wife was talking. Cool Cat Crypto. His wife seems shadier than he does. Shadier than Russ, huh? I haven't had a chance to get into that yet. I'll be honest. The way I look at it is, yeah, maybe I should look more into it. But at this point, is it something I really need to do? All right, Tim Shea, crazy stuff. Cool Cat Crypto, based on what you've heard, of course. All right, now you guys have a conversation. All right, let's kick it into the next part of this. And there's a few more things I definitely want to share with you all. And I'm gonna see. Okay, so what I'm just gonna do is go ahead and do that right now. And here we go. So I saw this. This guy basically just took a picture, with his phone of his computer screen. That's fine. This is from Boris XDC. He states, if this doesn't show how undervalued XDC is in its entirety, and especially among those that are ISO 222 compliant, I don't know what will, he states. Very good point. So as you can see right here, price versus supply, comparing top layer 1 enterprise ready blockchains. Of course, you got Algo. It says roughly 80 cents, but I mean, I don't know how up to date that is. I'll double check Algo, because we need to talk more about Algo anyway. So this, of course, was taken a while back. So Algorand's literally sitting at like 34 cents, not what you see right here on the screen. And then on top of that, it says XLM at 18 cents. We wish, right? Larry, you could have got it at that price. And then, or I should say XLM. I meant XRP. It never was down to 18 cents. So XLM, I believe, is up, 12? We saw it the other day for, I think, 10. So it's at close to 13 right now. And then the last one, XRP, is 54, 55 cents, maybe 52. I don't know. Let me just double check that one as well. XRP is a little over 53 cents. All right. So I really like that statement. I wanted, of course, to share that with you guys. Just real quick stuff. I mean, it's no big deal. All right, here's the next one. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you right now. So this is just another, like a little over 2 minutes. This is from Aswath Damodaran. I can't even pronounce that right. But anyway, he is a professor of finance at the Stern School of Business at New York University, where he teaches corporate finance and equity valuation. Wow, pretty impressive. Of course, he's got all this tagged here: XRP, Quant, HBAR, Algorand, XDC, XLM, and of course, for the heck of it, CBDC. We're going to hear what he has to say. I already listened to this before, but I, of course, wanted to share this with you guys. And if anything, I think you'll like it. So give me just a moment, and here we go.
Currencies cannot be valued; they can only be priced. And the reason I had to make that statement was because I've been asked repeatedly over the last 14 years whether I think Bitcoin is undervalued or overvalued. And my response strikes many people as a cop-out. I say Bitcoin cannot be valued. And he says, is it because there's too much uncertainty? No, it's got nothing to do with uncertainty. I mean, let's take the two claims that Bitcoin advocates make about Bitcoin. First is it's a currency. Okay, if it's a currency, then I can't value it. I can price it. When I look at the price of Bitcoin, I'm getting an exchange rate between Bitcoin and US dollars, Bitcoin and euros. What should drive that exchange rate? That should be driven by how good or bad a currency Bitcoin is. And that's something you can measure, right? The quality of a currency is a function of how often it gets used as a medium of exchange. And on that dimension, Bitcoin is an abysmally bad currency. Even if you're a believer in Bitcoin, tell me the last time you paid for something with Bitcoin, a house, a car, a coffee. Bitcoin is hardly ever used as a currency. And people can claim it's a conspiracy, but it's got more to do with the way it's been designed and how inefficient it's been as a currency. The other claim for Bitcoin is it's a collectible. It's like gold. Remember, I told you can't value gold, you can only price it. So let's price Bitcoin as a collectible. What makes for a good collectible? It holds its value during crises and when paper currencies are losing value. Gold is a time-tested collectible. Through thousands of years, it's held its value through crises. It goes up when stocks are down. But Bitcoin has been a terrible collectible. So to me, the problem is not so much that about Bitcoin as a digital currency. It's been a terrible currency. It's been a not so good collectible. So what the heck are you paying $20,000 for?
What you're paying $20,000 for is basically at this point the name. Think about it. All right. I'll use another example. All right. This has nothing to do with crypto, but it has to do with a name. So my dad, he retired for Freightliner Truck Incorporation. Okay. He worked there from 1983 to 1996. And before Daimler Benz came, right, and acquired Freightliner. By the way, at the time of that acquisition, that was the biggest merger in history at the time. That was roughly the mid 1990s. But before then, Freightliner was, of course, number one in freight truck sales, if you will, semi truck sales and whatnot. And they used to have a saying, especially all the workers down there, oh, this is going to be amazing for Freightliner. Heck, I mean, come on, this is going to turn Freightliner into the Mercedes-Benz of trucks. And everybody was so gung-ho for that on the whole concept. Well, I'll tell you this much. Every single worker who worked on that assembly line will vouch for this, and that is the quality wasn't there. In fact, the old model that they had building trucks and so on was a lot more efficient. The quality, the standards, you name it. All they had going for them was basically that name, Daimler-Benz. And they went from the number one truck manufacturer in the world, to something like, I don't know, it was not even in the top 15 or something. It was horrible numbers. But again, what sold everybody for the first 5 years of the acquisition? The name. The point I'm trying to make here, in connection to all this, is this. There will eventually be a time in which, people don't want to believe it, and maybe, you still feel as though I'm in the minority on this, and that's okay. But I'm going to still stand behind this. We are going to witness at some point, whether it's within the next 5 years or maybe within the next 10 years, Bitcoin will no longer be the number one big powerhouse, big dog on the street of cryptos, if you will. And people will say, well, no, that's not true because the way it's designed, if you read the whole entire white paper behind it and so on. Okay, I'm with you on that, but I'm also with you based on what? A Web 2 system. Definitely not for what's going on with Web 3. And if you think about this, right, this is again about doing your whole research about everything. If you've done your proper research, we'll know when you look at that white paper that it was basically developed during a Web 2 model. And it wasn't even referred to as a Web 2 model because, let's face it, you had nothing else to compare it to. Bitcoin is not innovative at all, and it never will be. So if you still are going to stick to, I guess you could say, the Satoshi papers, if you will, eventually time will prove its efforts, if you will, and Bitcoin may very well at some point become, like I mentioned, I think back in May and June, that it's going to eventually be an altcoin. I'm not saying it's going to be a permanent altcoin, but I'm definitely saying that if there's the likes of Quant, for instance, who has a very more attractive circulating supply that's even less than Bitcoin, has less of a total and max supply than Bitcoin, and provides real solid utility, then this whole concept of, well, hey, I'm just another geek on the street who's claiming that this coin is the next Bitcoin. Well, it's not the case. It's literally the case of Quant is just that. It's not another case of, this is an influencer / content creator who's coming on a live show or doing a recording like a lot of other people out there and saying, yeah, this is the next Bitcoin. Because let's face it, we've heard that conversation time and time again. This is a case of Quant literally is not just the next Bitcoin, but it doesn't even need to have that label anymore. We'll get to the point where people are saying, well, this is the next Quant. Now, why would they say that? Is it because they're going to be like the next Monopoly? They're providing some solid utility? Are they providing some real world service? That's my whole thing. And that should be your whole thing too. Not again, official financial advice, but at least anything, you've done your proper research. And if the proper research points to the whole thing that, Quant basically is a standout one, that monopoly, if you will, when it comes to these ISOs, then again, I just think it's going to be amazing, beyond amazing. We're already seeing right now in a bear market. Again, we're in October, and shout out to Legrand for pointing out in his recent video that we should be hitting the bull run soon. I hope he's right about that, and he's got a lot of evidence and history to back that up. But my thing is, your cryptos, are you invested in the ones that are still garbage, that just promise future vision and just don't quite get there? Or are you actually invested into the ones that provide solid use case, solid utility, and are basically, constantly being innovative? Because like what we mentioned just not that long ago, Bitcoin just isn't that. Now, is that me saying that I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and I hate it and all that? No, don't get it twisted. Not like that at all. But what I am saying is you've got to do yourself a favor. Why wouldn't you want to research more about these ones that are going to be as part of, the whole where the financial institutional money is going to be, where literally the generational wealth is going to come to you and your family in the future. My thing personally is that's why I got into crypto to begin with, because I had a vision that, man, if I invest, X amount of dollars into this and it, does, in this case, like a 10X, then this is really going to be life changing. Well, let's face it, it wasn't. 8K into Shiba Inu and watching 11X into 88K, that's nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's still not life changing. But when I research some of these crypto projects, Quant, XRP, XDC, XLM, you name it. Some of you guys even mentioned some of these other ones, like Casper, LCX, you name it, right? The point is, those are the ones that are really, really life-changing, where it's beyond anything parabolic. It needs a new word. Well, we are getting so close to the next month for November, and we see some of these dates being outlined. Where are you with this? Have you been dollar cost averaging some of this? Or are you just still throwing your money at some of the, let's face it, typical meme tokens and so on? And while I'm not here to bash any community or any project or anything like that, my personal thing is, I can make some money on the short term on some of these. Don't get me wrong. But I could also make just an insane amount more by putting my focus on some of these other ones that are ISO related. So we're going to get more back into the topic of the show. I did see a lot more people have connected, and that's great. I can't thank you enough for that. If this is your first time ever connecting to the show, this is Crypto Talk Now live with Max. Usually my co-host is with me today, every night, which is Larry. He has a migraine, and we wish him the very best. We hope that he's doing okay with that. Like the saying goes on any other show, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if anything, don't feel bashful about asking questions about things you don't understand. This show is devoted to two main things. And that is, for one, or three main things, I should say. One, to have a welcoming community where you can ask anything and everything and not feel like someone's going to be like, oh, you're an idiot. don't ask that. And then you're like, oh God, okay. By all means, ask what an ISO is. If I don't answer it, some nice person from our community will. Nobody's here to bully anybody or, flex their muscles, if you will, or hide behind a keyboard like some coward in an Xbox game because he just shot you across the map with some hacks or something. It's not like that. This is crypto, and this is Crypto Talk Now, where we do have a very welcoming community. So if anything, state your questions, give us your comments, and consider changing your avatar, the little circular thing left of your name, for we can know what you're all about and who you basically are. So again, I'd like to welcome you if you are, especially if you're new, and for all the other people from the past who may have missed the show for quite a bit of time, I'd like to welcome you back. I'm going to take a moment to catch up on the comments, and the last one we're at is this conversation between you two, and that's fine. I'm going to jump further down to the handsome one, 350Z. He states he downloaded FTX to see if he can buy a classic on that platform, and it's not on there. So he messaged support and asked if they could add it, and he states they're very significant if it's added on. Okay. Cool Cat states ALBT ran on up there, didn't it? Yes, it did. Currently speaking, when it comes to ALBT, and I know I need to do more research on ALBT, but you see that it is currently at almost 7 cents. It's up 16.15% for the day. And then for the actual week, looks like it did pretty well. Let's see. That was a nice little increase over the week. I'm just going to double check my watch list. I know you don't see this at the moment. That's okay. But let's see. I'm going to do a Control F, ALBT. All right, it says ALBT was up 86% in the last 7 days. That's huge for them. Glad to see it. All right. Let's see. Wow, voice text, LOL, hit up FTX for Luna Classic. Speaking of Luna Classic, I'm going to bring that chart back up for you guys while I'm going through some of the comments. I know it's not an ISO, but might as well see what's going on with that. All right, there it is on that 1 hour chart still. Looking pretty good, actually, for that 1 hour. Cody Core ALBT has almost 3x since he bought his first. When did you buy your first? That's what I want to know. And we'll get back to you on that. You're saying what's up to Cody. That's great. Tim Shea recognized Mr. Cool Cat. The handsome 350Z, smash that like button. Yes, thank you very much. Cool Cat Crypto, don't forget about that BSV. We'll take a look at that real quick. We talked about briefly last night. So BSV. I do see that it's slightly under $50, 49.78. Glad you mentioned it. And for the 7-day chart, it's up 3.29%. You guys are talking to show that's good. All right, Red Coin Cars. Curious, how many crypto holders in here hold any BTC? I used to hold a decent amount of BTC, especially at the beginning of last year. Basically, what happened is I got into, I think, it was either 2016 or 2017. I bought, I don't know, maybe just a little bit, like maybe like $50 worth or something like that. And then by 2021, it was worth, I think, about a couple $100. And it doesn't seem like that's really too significant, but I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, to see a balance of $50 go to $200. And I'll be honest, I took that and then I invested into some other things. I think I originally, you know what I did? I'll tell you what I did. I took that and I bought my first bag of Shiba Inu. And then, of course, I bought my second and most biggest bag, which was over 1 billion of the Shiba Inu tokens. So that's what I did with it. I currently do not hold any BTC. I know, of course, there's many people that do. I know Badir, aka Crypto Winner, Hump Not Dump, who does a show. At least he does a show at least early in the morning from our sister station, Crypto Talk Now VR, with Edward Vincent and the crew. He shorts Bitcoin. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. I fear most don't even see BSV coming. Maybe I'm one of them. I know that I need to get into some of these, but my thing is just my reward ratio. I just see other ones I'd rather be able to load up a little bit more on compared to the likes of that. But maybe I'll be paying for it later. But it's just like that with a lot of things, All right, the handsome 350Z says he has crypto dust of Bitcoin. All right, Cool Cat. I have some BSV. But he has been concentrating on the ISOs. Cool Cat states he has no BTC, he has BSV. I would expect you to say that because I know you don't like Bitcoin. I know you don't like Ethereum, but you always felt as though BSV was the true Bitcoin. So thanks for pointing that out. Cody Core says it's closer to 2x. LOL, I cry. Tim Shea, Cody Core, I'll get there. I'm just going to check the other screen just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Don't want to miss out on somebody. I don't know, I feel bad sometimes if there's a super chat and I don't get to it quick, but I didn't see any there. That's okay. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. Well, most of my ISOs been in BSV a while. Then he states again, people gonna poop themselves when BSV runs up. All right, explain to me, okay? So I did a little bit of research into it. Of course, not as much as you have, and that's fine because there's just so many cryptos to basically research, and we all want to get into the ones that are the standout ones. But even with that said, even if you're like a whale investor, you're not necessarily into like a perfect 100 in your portfolio. But for you, Cool Cat, this is not me putting pressure on you or anything. I want to know, where do you see new all-time highs for BSV? I'm talking about like significant all-time highs. There is some kind of magic moment, not like, the song like this magic moment, but whatever. What is it to you? You seem very passionate about BSV. So if I'm passionate about any particular crypto, it's because I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see a certain price that maybe some other people just don't see. Or maybe I see a certain price that other people who cover that particular project or product in this case see. But let's face it, the majority of us here right now don't see that. So what is that? Explain in the comments. I'd love to get back to that. Tim Shea, ALBT has a max supply of 1 billion. Tim Shea also says he loves Legrand's theory about the smaller bull run every 2 years. I do too. I think that's worth pointing out. Guys, take a look into bull run. Yeah. Bull run Legrand. No. Take a look into Legrand's theory about that. He makes a very good point. It's his last video that he made from Crypto Talk Now's Hablamos Crypto Aura. Cool Cat Crypto. BSV is the IPv6, the same language Amazon uses. Okay. All right. Raycoin Car says he's really bullish in Filecoin. Okay. And being seduced by Cadena right now. Yes. Filecoin is a great one for even just weekly swing trading or bi-weekly swing trading. I mean, to me, Filecoin is great even on the long term. It's just one of those ones that does really well. The thing is, though, you get tempted, depending on if you have what you call a crypto budget, you want to allocate so much of your what you have to basically invest towards certain projects. But if you were set up just fine, you're like, I already invested quite a bit into some of these ISOs or this Luna Classic or Shiba Inu or you name it, right? And you're all comfortable with your portfolio. Like for me, I don't know, it's like 45, close to 50 now in my diverse portfolio. And the way I look at it is, yeah, I'm putting more focus on the ISOs, but I also should still be getting into some of these other ones that are not necessarily ISOs. Like I personally feel as though I should be DCAing more into Helium. I should definitely get a bag of Filecoin. I should definitely buy a second bag of Polygon, Matic. I should definitely be getting a bag of Bone. But just on and on and on, you know what I mean? So, or, get into Casper, get into LCX, get into Algorand. I mean, but you add that up, it really starts to add up. All right. What's the ISO? You saw earlier. Unless you missed that segment. If you did, there was a whole thing that explains basically what that is. How old are you? How about you all guess how old I am? If you want. And then I'll tell you how old I am. I don't care. I know Larry doesn't like mention that stuff, but that's fine. Do shave your head? I do. No, I've wanted to shave my head. My girlfriend doesn't want me to shave my head. She likes the idea. Like for me, I would shave off all my facial hair and I would shave probably my head. Maybe just have like sideburns or something. But she doesn't want that, and I gotta respect that. You got to do what your lady wants. If they want a certain look, you got to go with that. Just to give you an idea, I'm not completely 100% bald, but I'm pretty close to it. So Yeah, pretty much. Like my cousin was said I'm half bald, but I'm bald. That's close enough. But yeah, she wants a little bit up there, so that's okay. All right, so let's see here. Cool Cat Crypto BSV is such a steal right now because it's under $50. Okay, again, where do you see the all-time highs, new all-time highs going? All right, Raycoin cards. That worked out for, a strong decision on the BTC for SHIB deal. Thanks. It did because it just I wanted at that time to not so much like take I don't know what you call like I didn't want to take all the money I earned from Dogecoin. So that again, if you don't know the story, it was $300 into Dogecoin, and then that ended up getting me 22K. And from there, I was bit by the crypto bug, and then I was like, well, I need to allocate some of my earnings to Shiba Inu because that was the next big thing. So, that's the way I looked at it. All right, let me go to the next one. But thank you, though. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. Imagine being able to buy the real Bitcoin. I mean, the one that actually works and will be used in the near future for $50. That's a good point, and maybe that's just the whole thing in itself. But again, I want to hear more about where you really seeing it going in the future. Cody Core states, I was looking, I lied. I bought at 40, or hold on, 0.047. Okay, so almost 5 cents. It dropped down to almost 0.03, then started coming back up. I lost where you were at. You must be referring to something. Crypto Mike, is that a Luna Classic pennant forming? Let me see. Let me blow that up. It definitely is. I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you. This is good. This is good. And here's the thing. I mean, I like it when KuCoin sends me alerts, right? Don't get me wrong. I have my phone set off to like not have much alerts because otherwise the thing would be dinging all day long. But even with these recent trades on the right, we'll go there right now. Hold on. It says it's the most traded in volume out of everything they have. That's pretty significant. And KuCoin is not some super small exchange. Yeah, they're not as big as Binance, but to me, they're like top 5. So that was really good. All right, let's see here. Tim Shea saw that earlier, Mike. Yeah, sometimes I read in the comments. I don't really take a glance over there, but thank you for pointing that out. Mr. Casual says hi, Tim, and hello to you, Mr. Casual. Crypto Mike, and look at what USTC is doing with Repeg news. We could pull that up in a bit. Or right now, actually. I'll just pull that up right now. Hold on. 1 second. So we got anything new on that? The last one I saw was 3 days ago. I think this one's pretty valid. All right, I'm going to stop share. I'm going to show you guys this one real quick. So let's see. All right. So this one states, don't worry, we'll get more into the ISO stuff, but it says developer confirms no new Luna Classic minting as Terra Rebel asserts no one is in charge of Terra Classic codes. Excuse me. So it states on Tuesday, let me turn that off. That's why I'm coughing. On Tuesday, the Crypto Basic reported that some members of the Terra Rebels had made a new proposal to restructure and repeg USTC. This must be at least what you're talking about or similar to it. It says, however, the proposal was met with stiff resistance as it included plans to mint 500 billion Terra Luna Classic to purchase Bitcoin as collateral for a new algorithmic fungible token called USTN. I did hear about this earlier. Actually, way earlier today, like around noon or so. Classy Crypto did that whole live Twitter space thing, and he was talking about it. So I did kind of hear a little bit about it. It says, at the time, several influential voices in the community spoke up against it. Basically, calling it a bad idea and an erosion of any progress made through recent burn initiatives. Moreover, it led to heated open debates among developers. However, and there is Classy right there. Anyway, in a tweet today, Alex Forshaw, the major proponent of the proposal, disclosed that his plan does not involve minting new Luna Classic anymore. Well, thank God. That's just my opinion. It says it came in response to a tweet by Classy Crypto, basically announcing that the competing repeg proposal from Tobias Anderson, aka Zardar, Classy did mention specifically Zardar earlier today, should be expected in 2 weeks, touting it as the proposal for those opposed to minting new tokens. And of course, there's this right here where, Classy originally put out new Luna Classic plan released in 2 weeks by Zardar. Again, if this was posted on the 5th, and that was supposed to be 2 weeks, we should check back in on this in about, I don't know, probably the 19th or the 20th, or even before then. It says, let's see, for those against minting more Luna Classic, this is your plan. I mean, even without looking at it, I mean, I'm not really into minting new tokens. I mean, what's the point of burning if you're going to mint new ones? I mean, you better come up with a really good, explanation, personally. But anyway, let's take a look at it. It says, so number 1, implement partition pools. 2 is to enable swaps with a $10 billion cap on Luna Classic. 3, implement ABS Keeper. 4, build value-adding second-layer dApps to grow the network. 5, use taxes to recapitalize community pool. 6, establish USTC as reserve currency for all partition pools. And 8, building. My thing is this, all right? And again, I got to get more familiarized with this, all right? I could be completely wrong on this, and I wouldn't be the first time. I'm not the type of guy who will ever say I know everything about everything when it comes to crypto, because I don't. But like it says right here, my plan doesn't involve minting new Luna Classic anymore. Like, I like that statement, but I'm not all gung-ho for new tokens for maybe some of these reasons here. My thing is this, is this all brought up mainly because, we're all in a great big hurry to basically burn Luna Classic, because we haven't achieved some of the goals that we want to get to real quick. And if that's the case, then again, I would just re-advise people. It's like, look, just because it doesn't all happen like according to plan within 3 or 4 days or 1 week doesn't mean it's going to fail. And I think that's the whole thing lately with Luna Classic is too many people are not satisfied with these particular burns, and as a result, they're trying to come up with new plans. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as they're solid. But my thing is, when I hear minting of new tokens, to me, it's kind of like, going against the grain, if you will. And you know exactly what I'm talking about in regards to that. But thank you for pointing that out. Let's get a little bit further down in the comments. Cool Cat Crypto says he thinks BSV runs up past 1,000 during the next bull run. $1,000 a coin, really? Like, just clarify that for me. $1,000 per coin. If that's the case, I need to get some. And I've always believed you know what you're talking about. You speak very intelligently. Wow. Okay. I think I need to research that more this weekend. If that is the case, and you believe that full solidly, because I know you talk about all the time. There's a few that you talk about. Hold on a second. XDC, you love it. I think it's your favorite ISO, and you talk about BSV a lot. So, yeah, I need to look more into that for real. Like, you really got me going now. Yeah, 20x, nice. Yeah. Cool Cat Crypto, if BTC ran up to nearly 70K with zero utility, good point, and only a store of wealth, BSV should easily go past 70K with massive utility and also a store of wealth. All right, thanks for pointing that out. Jeff Pruden, so it's tomorrow Binance burns more Luna Classic. Yeah, supposedly. And keep in mind, tomorrow's the start of the work week. So technically speaking, with the time difference, it might actually start here soon. Max got the 40 head. The 40 head? What do you mean? Oh, Oh, because of my FFA or whatever. All right. Red Koi Cars. What made you look at SHIB and Doge in the first place? I wasn't aware of crypto at that time, so don't get what the appeal would have been at the time. I was a newbie. I'll be honest. I was a blatant newbie. So I mean, I already knew about Bitcoin, but I didn't know, a whole lot about the altcoins. I mean, I heard of them, and then what happened is a guy I used to be friends with. It was part of my gaming group. This was back in like January 2021. He tells me, "Hey, I did really well with Dogecoin. Currently, it's at a penny, and it's going to go up. I don't ever see it being a penny again. Put in $5,000 or more." I was like, "Are you kidding? I'm a school teacher. We don't make much money. I can't do that." And he was just like, "All right, well, put in where you can afford." I was like, "Well, all I can afford right now is like $300. I could have put more. I could have probably put like at least $1,000, maybe two, but I wasn't comfortable with that. So I put 300 in, and of course, within like, was it 4 months from that point? Um, I caught it, man. I watched it every single day on Robinhood, and of course CMC and the other ones, and basically had it like right at the max all-time highs, and basically turned $300 investment into 22K, and from there was like, you know what, this is without even doing more research, right? I said to myself, I need to find the cryptos that are cheap. That's just, I mean, I think a lot of new investors do this. So like Robinhood, whether you're former or not, is a newbie, it's a newbie pit stop, if you will. And then you go from there to other things because you're literally forcing yourself to learn other things. At least that's how it was with me. And then anyway, I said to myself, where are the other ones that are like super cheap, like below a penny? And I saw Shiba Inu. I was well below that. And then I said to myself, Shiba Inu is way more impressive than Dogecoin. That ended up being the first actual crypto I did research on. Because Dogecoin, I'll admit it, I did no research on it. But all I knew was this. My friend supposedly made $5 million off of Dogecoin. You know what I mean? And that was super impressive to me. Like, wow. His entry point was like 0.0005 or something like that back in like summer 2020. And then he was able to flip that, as the saying goes, and make insane amount of return on that. And he's telling me, what I mean? It's just kind of like when you get stories like that, you're like, hate to say it, you don't really do a lot of research. So Shiba Inu was the first token that I did a lot of research into. And then I was totally convinced. I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw $8,000 into this. I'm gonna, they call it diamond handing. I mean, I'm not diamond hands. I'm not a whale investor by any means, but I'm definitely diamond handing Shiba Inu. I know some people don't like that term, but whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's what I call it. That's what other people call it. But yeah, that's what made me get into the first place. You said that you weren't aware of crypto at that time, so you didn't get what the appeal would have been at the time. It's okay. It's okay, man. Don't beat yourself up over it. There's a lot of things that people didn't get into back then, but we all have our story of where we came into crypto, and for whatever reason you are here consistently. There's a reason for that. Is it because you just like my bald mug? I doubt it. But there is a reason for it. There's something maybe in your portfolio where you did well in a bear market, or you did well last year, but you're here for a reason. Share that reason. We would actually like to know that. I would like to know that. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. Can you learn a ton about BSV on the BSV website? Lots of is. Okay, yeah, you can learn. You said, okay. Talk about ALBT again. Great. Cool Cat Crypto. BSV did 50,000 TPS on testnet this year. That's fast. That's insanely fast. That's like up there with Solana. I know you guys don't want me to mention Solana, but you know what I mean. And it scales to the stars. Okay, cool. Cool Cat Crypto. It already does 10,000 TPS on mainnet. Okay, that reminds me of like I can't remember what Ripple is up to, but maybe or is Ripple 10,000 or is it 1,500? I can't remember. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. Most don't know it even exists. I've known it exists for a long time, actually. I just didn't understand the differences between the few. I mean, even I think on Robinhood you could buy that, right? I mean, there's Bitcoin Gold, there's Bitcoin Cash, You know, the logos look a little bit different, and but you know, when you hear from somebody like yourself who knows about it and is passionate about it, I mean, yeah, I've never heard your voice. But you do talk very, you know, chat very passionately about it. It makes me want to learn more about it. Tim Shea, I am one of those 3 subscribers. Where are the BSV videos? Oh, it's a Cool Cat Crypto. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, Cool Cat says he didn't make any vids, even though I just might soon. Either way, guys, I was going to say within the next 3-5 minutes, I have got to kill the show. Not kill it, but end it at least. I had Chinese food earlier. I ordered duck. And here's the thing, okay? You know, I made it blatant that I need to have the duck juice, the darn brown sauce. That's what makes it amazing. And they freaking forgot it. And now it's just like, it's kind of like, I can't explain it, man. Can't. Anyway, I got to go back there before they close to get my darn duck sauce. Yeah, I'm going all the way back to the other side of town just for that sauce because it's that good. Anyway, the guy said he would save it for me. I'm like, darn right, you save it for me. You got to give me a discount too because I'm wasting my gas. Anyway, Damon Vargas, researching crypto to decide which will be of huge importance or use is one of the hardest things to figure out. Research is hard because all websites look amazing. Research is hard, and I agree with you on that. You have to go through, in some cases, the white paper, decide for yourself, does that some of that stuff make sense? Then on top of that, look at it from a different point of view from multiple outlets. Then on top of that, maybe see what some people from the community have to say about it. Because it's one thing to see, you know, like you say, you know, go to like multiple websites and whatnot, and they're going to be all hoorah, hoorah. But it's kind of like, you know, when you buy a product or think about buying a product, right? You want to see the consumer reviews. You know, one guy says this is great, and the other guy says, well, you know, I bought this vacuum or whatever, and I didn't think it was as great as, you know, my Shark vacuum, or, you know what I mean? You get what I mean. All right. Crypto Mike says that was just a proposal. Decide against the minting idea. Okay. Fair enough. Do a deep dive into BSV. You will see what I see. Okay. I am going to do a deep dive into it because that's my main thing. Let's face it. That's one of the main reasons why I'm investing into these ISOs. Is not because I like the idea that I don't know. I got to spend, like in this case, you know, XRP a little over 50 cents per XRP, or quant. I got to spend over $150 per quant, right? I don't like that any more than the next guy. But, you know, if I am sold on quant, even at $150 plus or $200 plus, right? And I believe in that because I see it being over 103,000 a coin. Some of you guys have stated that you see it being over $2 million or $1 million a coin. So if I could believe in that and see that it's not just my belief in it, but like this seems solid and could happen, and you know, $50 into BSV and it goes up to, like you mentioned, like 1,000 or 10,000, whatever that amount is. So that's I need to look into that because I don't want to miss out. The fear of missing out, FOMO, different form of FOMO, right? All right. Chef Prudence states, didn't Binance get robbed for like $400 million the other day? I don't know. I didn't see that. I'll be honest. Tell me more, or somebody else. Cool Cat Crypto needs some equipment first. Oh, to do I might do it, but think about, oh yeah, you know what? If you do, we'd love to invite you on the show, my friend. That'd be awesome. You can, even if you don't want to show your face, you want to do, you know, some people are into that furry stuff. Maybe that's you. If you want to do that, whatever, you know, we're cool with that. Whatever you're comfortable with, man. That'd be awesome, though, man. To have you on the show, I think it'd be really, really cool. All right, Tim Shea, you would get plenty of subscribers fast. I think you would. Cody Core, wish I would put 300 when I got in. My $19 only got me 1,900. 300 would have got me to 82,000. My goodness. Tim Shea, BSV, the scalable blockchain for government and enterprise. Day trading. I like to hear about crypto. Any information is precious. Imagine a guy predicts Luna dump 1 month before it happened. So I need a few times like this to hear some good info and take advantage. That's a good point, especially if the person decided to short it. But I mean, in reality, most people aren't going to know that stuff. Dan Vargas, is it all about speed, though? Not necessarily. It's also about security. So again, it is, speed sounds great. Time is money, but it's also more secure, especially when it comes to these ISOs. I need to get further down in the comments. So I might have to skip a lot. Here's somebody I'd never seen before. Leslie or Para. I was trying to sell my quant from LeisureNet. Why would you want to sell your quant? I mean, I understand you see the short-term profits. Research the long-term for it, my friend. By the way, I'd like to welcome you, everybody. Let's welcome Leslie or Para. If you haven't done so already, thanks for joining us here tonight. Crypto Talk Now. Consider change your avatar to something that speaks more about who you are and what you're all about. And again, I'd like to just go ahead and give you a formal welcome. And hopefully the rest of us will as well. Cool Cat Crypto. Speed is good, but not at the expense of security. I literally just said that. Thank you for pointing that out. Red Coin Cards. I'm here because I got my pocket picked by earlier investors after entering near the top of the last bull run. I was the liquidity. Wow. This is a very rare story. If this, I believe it's true. But anyway, it says, I was the liquidity. Now I'm trying to go from Anakin to Vader. Learning to master the Force. Well, welcome, my young Padawan. Okay. Thank you. That's cool. Cool story. Not a cool story, bro, but a cool story. All right. Bitcoin Cards. Daily studying and love the insight this show gives in such a comfortable environment. Thanks so much. I really appreciate some of the comments that you mentioned before. I love the Star Wars reference. I wonder how many true Padawans I really have that are out there. But yeah, thank you very much. You want to go from Anakin to Vader? I totally get it, my friend. That's awesome. But who would ever thought? Hopefully you watched the Obi-Wan series. That was really good. I mean, I never thought Obi-Wan was that powerful. My goodness. I'm not ruining it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Don't want to ruin it. All right. Don't want to do no spoilers. But maybe that'll get us like 100,000 views if I do. No, I'm kidding. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. XRP currently does 1,500 TPS. Okay. I knew it was either 1,000 TPS or 10,000. Anyway. But it can be scaled up to 50,000 TPS. Okay. So it's fully burstable. That makes sense. All right. Or it should be fully burstable. Maybe that 50,000 is the highest they ever recorded on what it could scale up to. And that's another thing too. All right. Jeff Prudent. I can't watch for very much longer, Maximus. Could you do a deep dive into BSV tonight for me? At least figure out what the hype is about. I'm not going to do it tonight. I have plans. My first plans since April to actually hang out with one of my online buddies and play some Battlefield 5 because I deserve it. That's right. All right. But I definitely will probably like tomorrow or something like that, or maybe late tonight. I don't know. Tim Shea, red coin cards. You can't go wrong with XRP, XLM, and XDC. Yeah. Cool Cat Crypto says, sure, why not? Okay, cool. That'd be great, man. Leslie or Para. You gave yourself away, elbow cough. You are either Legrand Commission or you're somebody like that. Very interesting. We will do a search based on your IP address. And then we will say, your papers, please. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. XLM is a must hold, in my opinion. Yes, it is. XLM is like the XRP Junior, but not from Carl's Jr. All right. Cool Cat Crypto, as is XDC. Hold on. Welcome to the family. Let's see. I love your channel. Can you say anything about Casper? Who are you? You are related to Legrand Commission or something. You referenced the elbow cough. Who is the unveil yourself? I don't know who you are. Nobody says elbow cough unless they're from the Crypto Talk Now network family. Can I say anything about Casper? Yes, I need to do more research about it, and I have been planning to do that for a while. That's what I can say about it. A lot of the guys here love it. How about you this, guys? You tell Leslie or Para more about it. Elbow cough. Please. Oh, man. It's a conspiracy going on here. Does that look like an elbow cough? Oh, anyway. Elbow cough. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. Casper's good stuff. You're good stuff. All right, and I handsome one. If you're going to stream, you're gaming, be sure to send me a link to my cell phone, brother. I'll come and watch you guys and root for you. No, we're not going to stream it. I'm just going to do some clips and do a proper video again. And then later on, I'll introduce the whole stream. Because I don't want people to expect that. And then, of course, the season's going to start. Like, we have our first game the week after next. And it's just like, I'm not going to have time for it anyway. I will get back to the point where I do that kind of thing. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. BSV is the most flooded project there is. Be ready for that one. Research more than Saitama. All right, Tim Shea. My first question was also, why would you sell your coin? Yeah. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. The fact is it's flooded so hard tells me a thing or two. Huh. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Thank you, La Gran Comisión, with the troll account. All right. Then again, you would have a wrench next to your name. I don't know. But still, something is fishy about the elbow cough. Yeah. Because nobody out there could have elbows like, anyway, never mind. All right. Mr. Fudd, Selmo, Max bringing that sauce tonight. Legrand is trolling. I think he is because he gave away that elbow thing. And on top of that, he's got this. Like, that's, Espanol. So he's definitely doing something. All right. Let's get into some more of these things because I'm going to have to rush to get my duck sauce. I must have my duck sauce. All right, here we go. Where is this thing? Hold on. If it's a video, I need to do a proper share. Hold on. All right, here we go. Yep, it's the last thing. All right. And then we'll, in the future we'll have part 5. Be on the lookout for that, of course. Let's do a Chrome tab. So in this case, it's another update from Investor Place, and it basically states this. This was released, of course, yesterday. Weekly update. The crypto consolidation continues, but brighter days are ahead. The past week was yet another volatile week for cryptos, marked by a series of rallies and sell-offs. This past week was yet another volatile week for cryptos, marked by a series of, like we just said, of the rallies and sell-offs. Yet despite all the swings, cryptos ended the week little changed. In that regard, Bitcoin came into the week around 19,500 and ended the week around 19,500. Like, wow, even. So continues the crypto consolidation, which started in mid-June. Now, for the record, I've stated before, I'm cool with this. And you may be the type of person which you're cool with this as well. Why are we cool with this? You may be thinking, I'm new to crypto. Why would you guys be cool with this? Well, I don't understand. Because we base it on history. When there's a lot of consolidation and sideways action when it comes to Bitcoin, there's indicators for the bull run. And I will give props, credit where credit's due. Shout out to the Legrand Commission, who basically, outlined a theory. And now this is kind of starting to add up. I mean, let's face it. Let's give credit where credit's due. So this consolidation started in mid-June. It has lasted for 4 months now. During that time, Bitcoin has staged multiple 10% sell-offs and been victim to multiple 10% drops. Yet through all the volatility, the net price change has been null. In mid-June, Bitcoin was around 19,500. Today, it's just that same level, right? Kind of see what's going on here. I cannot blow it up on that one for some reason. It says, we fully believe, them as an investor place, that the crypto consolidation will persist over the next several weeks as a week, as a week quarter 3. Hold on a second. Sorry, as a week quarter 3 earnings season weighs on equities, basically higher oil prices create fears of reinflation. Crypto investors remain generally risk off. However, we simultaneously believe the crypto consolidation is in its final few innings. Wow. Over the past few weeks, we've offered factors and data points to support the concept of a new boom cycle in 2023 for cryptos. However, today we'd like to focus on a factor which we haven't yet discussed, which is money printing. Oh, God. The mainstream media has distorted the narrative surrounding Bitcoin over the past few years to describe it as, quote, a hedge against inflation. We always hear that overused concept, but that is actually never what it was intended to be. Yeah, I'm not sure who came up with that concept in the first place, but it's just plain wrong. Yes, thank you, Investor Place. At least we see eye to eye on that. Bitcoin wasn't invented as a hedge against inflation. It was invented as a hedge against money printing. Yes, thank you. Zoom back to the early time of 2009 when Bitcoin was invented. The inflation rate was just 1%. Market-based inflation expectations characterized by 10-year Treasury break-even rates were barely positive. The world had a lot of problems back in 2009. Inflation was not one of them. Why invent a new currency as a hedge against inflation at a time when inflation was at its lowest levels in decades? That's a good point. Now, some people look at it like, well, inflation was high during that time because of the recession and so on. Not necessarily. If you go back, yes, we were in a recession, but it wasn't high inflation. Big difference. Don't believe me? Look into it for yourself. It makes no sense. So forget this whole idea that cryptos were designed to be hedges against inflation. How many times do we hear that over the last couple of years, especially with the last bull run of 2021? They said Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation. It is not. They weren't. They were never designed to be such a thing. Here, of course, is where it was highlighted when Bitcoin was invented, roughly in that area of 2009. Look at it. If you look closely, you will see some of this data right here. I can't blow it up, unfortunately. I said what they were designed to be a hedge against is money printing, because guess what happened back in 2009? Again, the Fed printed a whole bunch of money to save us from a complete economic meltdown on par with the Great Depression. A measure of the money supply in the U.S. economy, dubbed M2, ballooned in 2009. Again, top right, focus on there. Says when Bitcoin was invented. All right, a little bit more. The thinking behind the invention of Bitcoin at the time was that with the Fed printing so much money to rescue troubled Wall Street banks, the US dollar would lose its value. After all, if the US dollar can be printed to save banks when they're on the brink, what value does the dollar basically have? And again, we can get back into what? ISO 222. Why did Max deliver this particular message about Bitcoin when the topic is ISO 222? Again, you can see the direct correlation of how this all makes sense. Why aren't we doing more of our own research? We do it for future products and services or projects. Why don't we reflect back on history to give us an idea of not repeating the past? Well, perfect example. Okay. It states, Fed printing so much money to rescue troubled Wall Street banks, the US dollar would lose its value. What is going on as we speak? It's not just the US dollar losing its value, right? We are literally seeing the collapse of fiat across the world. And then, there's this thing coming up in November. Again, preparing for November. There's a reason why I bring some of these things to you guys. It's not just because, it's filler time. I mean, in a way it is, but it's also for it to make some sense. And it's just that. So, after all, if the US dollar can be printed to save banks when they're on the brink, what value does the dollar have? In a market where consumers understand that supply of an asset is theoretically infinite, that asset could end up being theoretically worthless. Perfect example, the Ukraine. Seriously, look into it, right? Crypto adoption in Ukraine before the war is 15%. The rest of the world, 45%. Post or during the time of the war, especially at the beginning, like over 50% of the actual people preferred crypto over fiat. If you can't see the value in that, I don't know what to tell you. And that was the whole idea of Bitcoin. More specifically, the whole idea of Bitcoin was to flip that concept on its head, fix the supply of a new currency, make it forever finite, and by extension, make it forever valuable. So let me reiterate this clearly. Bitcoin was invented in 2009, an era defined by very little inflation and a lot of money printing. It wasn't invented to fix inflation. Jeez, they're really trying to get the point across, and rightfully so. It was invented to fix excessive money printing. It is no inflation hedge. It's a money printing hedge. Wow, that's pretty deep. The data bears out that Bitcoin has acted as a magnificent money printing hedge ever since its inception. That is, Bitcoin prices have largely been determined by M2 supply growth rates. Just look at the chart below. We'll get to that. It graphs the M2 supply growth rate laid by year alongside the 200-day moving average of Bitcoin ever since 2015. The two lines correlate most perfectly as I've ever seen in the financial markets. The Bitcoin boom of late 2017 was predicted by a massive increase in M2 money supply. The bust of 2018 was predicted by reversal of the M2 money supply growth. The rebound in Bitcoin in 2019 was predicted by a rebound in M2 money supply growth. The boom in 2020 and 2021 predicted by a boom in M2. The crash in 2022 was predicted by collapse in M2 growth. I hate to say this. I mean, I should say I hate to say this. But you know what particular person called this? Yeah, Richard Hart. He basically outlined some of the things that are mentioned in this article. Call it as you will. Every major move in Bitcoin over the past 7 years has been predicted by M2 money supply growth. Maybe we should put a little more emphasis on that sometimes. Maybe once a month. Who knows? Which means that if you want to know where Bitcoin prices are going next year, all you have to do is look at M2 growth rates this year. If M2 growth rates are rising, Bitcoin is set to soar. If M2 growth rates are falling, Bitcoin is set to decline. Bitcoin isn't a hedge against inflation, like it says, it's a hedge against money printing. Now, it states right here, it's kind of small, but it says M2 money growth late by a year, the blue line, all right? Perfectly correlates to Bitcoin long-term price trends, the white line. Okay, let's take a look at that. And it does. That is correct. In effect, the M2 supply growth rate today determines the Bitcoin price tomorrow. Okay. Now, it says, so where are M2 growth rates going? Okay, now we're back on par where we should be. They've been collapsing. Crypto winter. Hello. As the Fed has hiked interest rates aggressively in 2022. But empirical data suggests that they are about to reverse course in a big way, paving the path for Bitcoin boom cycle in 2023. Oh gosh. Could Larry be right about February? I don't know. Anyway, M2 growth is historically cyclical because the economy is historically cyclical. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Sorry. Remember, M2 is money supply. The Fed controls money supply. They like to increase money supply when the economy is bad to stimulate activity. They like to decrease money supply when the economy is good to stifle activity. The economy constantly oscillates between good and bad. Therefore, M2 growth also constantly oscillates between rising and falling. M2 growth has been collapsing all year long because the economy got too hot and the Fed is trying to stifle economic activity by decreasing money supply. However, the decrease in money supply has had its intended effects. The economy is now rapidly slowing to a point of being, quote, bad. It reasons then that what happens next is a Fed pivot of sorts towards expanding money supply. Such a pivot around current levels would be consistent with historical norms. And again, like it mentions, M2 supply growth rates have collapsed into what I call, quote, the reversal range, or the range in which M2 growth rates historically tend to bottom and reverse course after a long period of falling. This range is typically between 2% and 5% M2 growth. We are at 4% M2 growth today. Therefore, history suggests that an M2 growth rate reversal is just around the corner. My God. Like you see right here. I know it's going to be a little bit hard to see it maybe, but I'll state it for you. M2 supply growth is getting ready to turn a corner. Like it says right below that. M2 supply growth rates are historically cyclical, and they tend to cycle from declining to rising once M2 growth rates plunge into the 2 to 5% range. We are in that range today. My goodness. Meaning that an M2 growth rate reversal is coming soon. Are you freaking kidding? Is there not? Are you not excited? Are you not entertained? Make freaking Maximus. You know, where do you think I got my name from? Anyway, I'm kidding. But you know, in the movie Gladiator, you get my point. The reversal range is outlined here, and again, it feels like it could be right around the corner. I know. You heard the guy state, well, Bitcoin has already dropped below 20K. And from here, it's going to drop to 18K. And if it drops below 18K, it's going to go 12K. How many freaking times have we heard that expression? Is there any solid data to back that up? Or is it more like we should pay more attention to what we see with these M2 supply, growth rates turning around the corner because of what we've seen in history? Again, if crypto is more on the correlation of history repeating itself, which looks like could be the case, I'd rather go with that data than going with the guy who yells out, this is going to tank to 12K. Okay. I'm not saying that can't, but that's where I'm personally going. So there's a little bit more to this. It says, not to mention the stage is already set for a potential M2 reversal. 2 weeks ago, the Bank of England capitulated on its rate hike campaign and initiated a new M2 expansion program via bond buying. Just this week, the Reserve Bank of Australia capitulated to, which is slowing its rate hike cadence from 50 basis points to 25 basis points. The Polish central bank has followed suit, as well as pausing its rate hike campaign. Now, states it's dovish pivot season. Eventually, the Fed will be forced to pivot, not now, not in November, but signs are emerging from the empirical data to historical standards to falling inflation numbers, to slowing labor market numbers, to pure capitulation trends, to even the UN and IMF warning the Fed not to overdo it. That the pivot will likely happen within the next 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. So right now, as we speak, if we just based it off of 3, all right, we have October 9th, November 9th, December 9th, January 9th. That would be 3. If it ends up being, 6 months, February 9th, March 9th, April 9th. Now, here's something I want to pay attention to, okay? And call it conspiracy, call it whatever the heck you want to call it. Here's the thing. There were some videos that were released roughly about a month and a half ago from quote-unquote big influencers. One came out with one roughly about an hour away from the last guy. Yes, it's Luna Classic. Yes, if you remember where I'm coming from. One guy mentions how it's going to go to a penny in 200 days. That is basically in April, right around that time I just mentioned. The other one was another quote-unquote top influencer who has a lot more subscribers. I'm not going to say his name. You know who he is. We already mentioned it before. And he stated $1 within 200 days. But the point is they came out with the same type of video the same day within an hour or so. Again, that timeline matches up. Is it because it has to do with the burns and so on? Does it have to do with this darn thing with the this consolidation? Who knows? But the thing is this. What's consistent is what we are seeing on some of these graphs. Call it what you will, call it conspiracy, call it a great big sham. I don't care. But my thing is this. I'm going to base my data on history. And I'm going to base on some of the theories that Legrand mentioned. Because you know what? He has some very good points to bring up. Now, let's look right here. Last paragraph. Indeed, given all the pressure building at the current moment, we think a pivot is possible before the end of the year. That means M2 growth rates are going to reverse course and start moving higher in late 2022/early 2023, which sets the stage for a massive Bitcoin breakout in 2023. On that note, we could, of course, dive into the portfolio notes. But guess what? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow for those particular notes. And last but not least, I would love to read the rest of these comments, but my duck sauce awaits. And I love you all, and I hope I didn't miss anything. So with that said, come back tomorrow for more Crypto Talk Now. Greatest darn crypto community out there. Great show tonight. We'll see you on the next one. Over and out for now. Bye-bye.